Hello, Lateral over here, back for another F1 2021 video, and today we are here at the Bahrain International Circuit, and I have finally been able to start league racing once again on the new game. And the name of this league is VRL, Velocity Racing League, and we're currently in qualifying. This is Q1, so this is the middle of the session. It's a full qualifying format, followed by a 50% race, and as we cut onto the end of our first lap, it is a 25.7, which is quite slow, but I'm hoping that that will be enough to make it out of Q1 as we move out of the way to let some cars through, and we can see here that it is enough to move out of Q1. It is P3, not a good lap at all, but it is enough. And now we're into Q2, straight into our second lap, and we're going to be qualifying on mediums here. And we're starting our second lap of qualifying in general, first lap of Q2, and heading down the main straight into turn 1, braking pretty nicely, hitting the apex there quite nice, short shifting to third, and it's all good until we get a massive snap of oversteer. And pretty much right then and there, I knew that the lap was going to be terrible, so I decided I would complete the lap, but immediately I would go for a second push lap, and you can see 26.7, pretty terrible lap on the mediums. So braking for turn 1, we're going to try and take this section a lot better than the previous lap, and you can see that it is much better. And look at the delta, we're 4 tenths up going out of turn 3, and as we cut onto the end of that lap, we managed to keep that 4-tenth improvement, 4.5 tenths up on the previous time. Should be more than enough to make it into Q3 on the medium tire, and you can see it is more than enough on the mediums into Q3, the fastest time being at 25.6. And now we are into Q3 on the softs, of course, because it doesn't matter what tire you qualify on in Q3, you start the race on the tire that you qualify in on Q2. So as we cut onto the end of our first lap, 25.2. It's a decent banker, but I know that I can definitely go faster from here. So on our second push lap, we're going to throw it all at the lap and try and secure pole position, because it is still very close. P2 is again a 25.2, P3 25.3, so it's very close for pole position. We're heading down the main straight for our final lap in this session, braking for turn 1, and we hit the apex quite nicely there, and the exit is quite nice as well, using that curb nicely through turn 3. The McLaren gets out of the way on the side of the straight. We have a little bit of traffic going into turn 4. That may have lost a little bit of time, as you can see on the delta there. Heading into the S section, we missed the apex of the first S a little bit, but we still managed to gain time. Heading through turn 8, it is pretty nice. We missed the apex a little bit, but gained back the time on the exit. Turns 9 and 10, we hit the outside curb. That's a big mistake there, but we still managed to take the corners somewhat nicely, and we are still 1/10 up on our previous best. Going into turn 11, and we take turn 11 quite nicely, and no issues on the exit whatsoever. Gains us another 0.04 of a second. Into this corner, it's 2 purple sectors. We missed the apex though slightly, so exiting that corner we have lost time, and we need to be gaining as much time as possible, so that may be crucial. But heading into the final corner, we hit the apex nicely there. On the exit, it is quite good. Now heading down the main straight, DRS wide open, and what is the time? It's 25.0. That is provisional pole, and will it be enough though to secure pole position? Yes, it is. You can see P1 with a 25.0. No one was able to improve their lap time, and P2 is a 25.3, and same with P3. But the strategy is going to be medium to hard as we qualified on the mediums in Q2 and made it to Q3 with that tire. So we will be starting on the mediums as we line up on the grid after the formation lap to start this race. It's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out and let's go racing here. We get a pretty poor start off the 5 red lights, so that is not good. But heading into turn 1, we're side by side with R6 Chong, and we managed to just about keep the position, but you can see here we spin on the first lap. That is not good. Now we are at the very back of the field, and we have to try and make up quite a bit of lost ground, as you could imagine. Already someone has spun off there, so that's a free position. But if there's any lap that you would want to spin, ideally we wouldn't want to spin at all, but if there is any lap that would be best to spin, it would be the first lap, because that gives you the most amount of time to recover from the spin. So the race is all but over at this stage of the race. It's still lap 1, plenty of time to recover, and we're going to do just that, or we're going to try to at least. Now heading out of turn 11, there's chaos unfolding all over in front of us. Lots of cars fighting for position, so we will surely be able to gain time quite quickly. You can see we're already within a second of this big train up ahead of us, and this big train of cars, as they're weaving around off the track there, nearly crashing on the straight, and exiting the final corner. They make contact on the straight, and look at the speed that we're gaining on the straight to the Mercedes of Jolts. Now heading down the main straight, we're going to try down the inside, and Jolts just completely misses the braking point and nearly takes out the Ferrari. The Haas is spun round. That's a free position for us, as the Mercedes broke way too late there. And just a free position for us. Somehow after that he's still only 9/10, 1 second behind. So I don't know what, oh never mind, he's lost a bunch of ground. So that was a free position as the Ferrari spins off on the exit of the S section, really living up to the Ferrari driver name. So heading into turns 9 and 10, we have made our way back up to P12 already on lap 2 of this race, as the guy in P10, Chris Grant 88, has a drive-through penalty as someone's knocked out the brake marker boards at the entry of turn 11. The McLaren spun. That's another free position, which is good. And the Alpine is very slow heading through that right-hander, so it may allow us to have some overtaking opportunities. Look at the speed we have out of that corner. We're alongside the Aston Martin going into the final corner. Side by side, he really squeezes us to the inside though, and we have to take that big curve. We get quite a bit of oversteer. Now heading down this straight, I don't think we'll be able to go for a move down the main straight. We just decide to stay back, turn the ERS off. We have a look down the inside at the braking zone, but we think better of it. Now exiting turn 2 and 3, we will have DRS going down this second straight, but nothing that will allow us to go for a move. So heading out of turn 4, we're very close still, and we just have to keep pushing. And as we cut onto the end of that same lap, heading into the final corner, and we're practically pushing the Aston Martin through there. We get a snap of oversteer on the exit, but on the straight now, as the Red Bull goes into the pits to serve the drive-through penalty, we're going to try and go for a move. Aston Martin goes defensive, but back to the racing line. We go down the inside here. We actually tap the Alpine, which is not good, but we're side by side with the Aston Martin through turn 2. He gives us the big squeeze onto the curb for turn 3 and manages to just about keep the position as we head through turn 4. So we just have to keep pushing again and see what happens here. So heading into the S section, it is quite difficult to follow a car through here, as the Aston Martin is finding it quite difficult, setting a good example of how difficult it is in dirty air as he went wide there, which just goes to show how difficult it is to follow through those 2 corners. But heading through out of turn 10 now, we will have DRS, but we're not close enough to go for a move down this straight. But look at the 2 up ahead, the Alpine and the Williams, going side by side out of turn 11. Maybe the Aston Martin will have a look down the inside of one of these 2 cars and he does, side by side with the Williams going through the corner, and we get a poor exit trying to capitalize on the guys up ahead battling, but we're unable to, as there just wasn't enough grip to get on the power there, and we got oversteer as we actually hit the Williams going into the final corner. That's not good, but luckily we both stayed on track there and without damage as well. We get the position on the Williams, but the Williams may try to come back at us. He finds a gap down the inside, even though we went defensive, but he hits the Alpine, and that forces him to stay behind, and he avoids spinning or anything like that, but he did lose quite a bit of ground, a second behind after being side by side through turn 1, as we get a triple warning through one corner. We got 3 warnings somehow, like immediately through one corner, and now we had a penalty. And at this stage of the race, I just ignored it because I knew I could get that removed. It was some sort of track limits bug. So we're just going to ignore it for now. And exiting the final corner of lap 5, look at the speed we have on, that's the Alpine there. So we get ahead of the Alpine, and we have a distant slipstream from the Aston Martin up ahead going through turn 1. And now turn 2, turn 3 as well. We will have DRS down this straight, so it will just secure us this P7 position. And on lap 6 of this race, we may be able to secure a P6 position. As we're heading down the main straight now, I actually thought the Aston Martin was going into the pit lane, but look at the speed we have as the Aston Martin swerves on the straight as we go alongside. Nearly made contact there, just about managed to avoid contact. But now heading through turn 2, we are quite a bit ahead going out of those 3 corners. 3/10 is the gap after the overtake, and now through turn 4, we're going to try and pull away through this middle section of the lap. And as we start lap 8 of this race, you can see that the Aston Martin has been able to stick with us in our slipstream here as we head out of turn 1, going into turn 2, and now through turn 3, we get a big snap of oversteer, similar to what we had in qualifying, and the Aston Martin up ahead of us now was able to capitalize on our mistake and keep the position, which is not good because now we're going to have to try and overtake him once again and lose more time. I wasn't really looking to battle too hard, so at this stage of the race, my plan was maybe just to stick behind and save ERS, but the Aston Martin up ahead was defending his position quite hard, so I thought, why not try to overtake him and go aggressive with the ERS. Heading down the main straight, we're not even using the ERS though, just the DRS is enough to get ahead going into turn 1 around the outside, and for turn 2 we leave him the space on the outside, but he moves over to the left and causes us to make contact, which pretty much ruins our exit out of turns 1, 2, and 3. So he manages to stay ahead for the moment here as we head out of turn 4. Now cutting onto the end of lap 9, out of the final corner, and we're going to try once again here, heading down the main straight. We are using the ERS this time, and it is more than enough to get ahead on the main straight. That does mean though that the Aston Martin will have DRS on the second straight, but hopefully we will have enough ERS to use to keep the position. As we head down this straight now, you can see he has the DRS, but it's not enough. Now heading through turn 4, and we have kept the position still to the car behind now, and we're just going to try to keep pulling away because this is crucial. We're now ahead, and we were able to pull away. As you can see, the gap now behind is 2 seconds, and we managed to close in the gap on the Aston Martin up ahead, and now the gap to P3 is just 2 seconds. And as we head through turn 8, this is around the time that we might want to pit as someone's retired, and that's caused the safety car to come out in this race, and immediately you can see our reaction is to box this lap. This is around the time where I would have wanted to pit anyway, so this safety car is absolutely perfect for us as we enter the pit entry now. Pretty cautious with the pit speed limit. No need to pick up a speeding penalty under safety car, as the McLaren and the Aston Martin were ghosted through the pits. But we're making our pit stop now, and we've actually been held on the pit exit. Maybe we could have gotten the Aston Martin in the pit lane, but we were held on the pit release. So that was quite unfortunate, and it also allowed Plage in the Alfa Romeo to get ahead of us. So getting held in the pits was quite unfortunate, but it happens. So we're just going to have to try and make up for it and make up lost ground. We're currently in P5 and Plage up ahead. I have no idea what strategy he's on, but he will have to make another pit stop. And we're about to restart this race here, and the leader is controlling this restart now as the safety car is in the pit lane. When will the leader go? And he goes now. The Ferrari's ghosted, and we're heading down the main straight now, and we're right behind the Alfa Romeo of Plage. Going into turn 1, we're going to try and take it a bit cautious, but we've been rammed. Into turn 1, we were completely rammed into the braking zone, and that caused us to go into the Alfa Romeo, which spun us round. So nothing we could have done there. It was just a bit of chaos, to be honest. And through turn 4, we tap the rear of the McLaren, as we're now down from P4, P5, all the way down to P9, as the Alfa Romeo has actually spun round, and the Red Bull has pushed us off the track, probably in efforts to avoid the spinning Alfa Romeo. And we were unable to get the move done on the Red Bull, but they make contact through turn 10. The Alpine and the Red Bull make contact, so we were able to get those two positions quite easily there as we head down the straight into turn 11. Two cars side by side. That's the Red Bull and the McLaren there, and the Red Bull's very slow. We're trying to find a way past, but there's nothing that we could have done there. And through this corner, and the Red Bull misses the apex by a mile like his teammate did a few corners ago. But heading down this straight into the final corner, it was chaos on this safety car restart, but we're going to try and recover from it. P5 now, and it was pretty good job to avoid the chaos for the rest of the lap after turn 1. But cutting onto the end of lap 17, you can see that we have caught up to the McLaren up ahead, currently in P4, but heading down this straight, we are closing in, and we're going to try and go for a move down the inside. Look at the braking. We're braking so much later there, and we're able to get the move done. The McLaren's still with us through turn 2, but we're able to keep it, and we have DRS, which will just secure our position. And now heading into turn 4, and we've got the Williams very close up ahead on mediums still, as we get a second warning in this race. So we have to be careful not to get one more, or we won't be able to remove that penalty that we got from some sort of track limits bug. But exiting turn 8 now, and the Williams was going slightly defensive, but took the racing line once again, going into the corner. And now heading onto the straight, and we're very close. We might actually go for a move on the Williams up ahead. We go to the inside. It's always awkward being on the inside for this corner, and you can see why. It's because the Williams on the outside was able to get a switch back on us, but he wasn't able to keep it around the outside through the long right-hander. We're able to just about get that position as we exit the right-hander there. And now we're heading down the straight, and the two behind in P4 and P5 are very, very close, and that might give us a little bit of breathing room, as they'll be more focused on battling each other rather than battling me. So heading down the straight, never mind what I said, the Williams is closing in fast on us. He's going to go to the outside of turn 1. We just about managed to keep the position there. Turn 2 and turn 3, we're able to stay ahead. And now the Williams is side by side with the Mercedes behind. They are busy battling each other, as I said, might happen. But now heading into the S section, and out of the S section now, We used that opportunity to try and gain time, but it was no use because now we've got a Mercedes right on the back of us, and going into turn 1 we don't defend, and the Mercedes goes down the inside, forces us to take a slightly less optimal time or slightly less optimal line through that corner, and manages to keep the position. Yellow flags behind, and I'm not sure why. It all looks good on the minimap. So heading into the S section now, always difficult to follow through here. And as we cut onto the start of lap 23, we were able to strike an attack on the Mercedes just like the Mercedes did on us on the previous lap. It's the exact same move that the Mercedes did to us. We do it to him, and now exiting turn 2 and turn 3, the Mercedes is going to try and come back at us into turn 4, side by side through turn 4. We have the outside line, not always optimal when you're racing another car. And you can see as we get a third warning as Trixie sets the fastest lap there. We get a third warning, which means we cannot remove this 3-second penalty that we got from some track limits bug, because we got 3 warnings anyway, so it wouldn't make a difference. So up ahead, the car ahead has a 5-second penalty, so of course we want to get the position on track, but as long as we stay within 2 seconds of the car ahead, since we have a 3-second and they have a 5-second, we will get the position. But going into turn 1 on lap 24, we're side by side. I think there was very slight contact there, but we do manage to keep the position for now. And crucially, we have the DRS down the second straight, so that allows us to keep the position into turn 4, and that will allow us to stay ahead into the middle sector, which will make it a lot easier for us. But you can see that we've still got a Mercedes able to follow quite closely behind us there. So as we cut onto the end of that same lap, exiting the final corner then, and we're surely going to get overtaken here. Just 3 tenths behind now, 2 tenths behind is the Mercedes. Make that 1 tenth, and now less than a tenth as he goes past us down the straight. But that does mean that we will have the DRS, as the Mercedes was actually ahead going through or going into turn 1, and the detection point is going into turn 1. So we have the DRS. Can we go for a move? Oh, it's so close there. And we're side by side through turn 4. We had to look into the corner. It was so close, but we weren't able to keep the attack on and get the overtake done there. So as we have a Haas completely blinding our vision there, we completely missed the apex. Love when you can't see anything because of a ghost car. But anyway, we're exiting turn 10 now. You just have to keep pushing here on lap 25. And on lap 26 now, cutting onto the exact same spot on the circuit, we weren't able to launch another attack on the car ahead to get P3 on track. But now we have caught up to the Aston Martin, currently in P2 there, as you can see. And heading down this penultimate straight of the lap, right before the final corner and the main straight, you can see there's a bit of blue flag, so I think everyone is going to have DRS, if I'm not mistaken. Heading down the main straight, these 2 cars up ahead are definitely going to battle for position on track here. Now, heading into turn 1, and it's side by side between the 2 of them. The Mercedes backs out. Aston Martin is still just about ahead here, and this is crucial for me because it allows us to catch back up to the Mercedes up ahead, but we are battling for position here. Now heading through turn 4, they're side by side through there. Great battling from them. Now into the S section, the Aston Martin backs out, has a less optimal line through the S section. Look at how much we've gained, going down the inside of turn 8. Can we get the move done? No, there's a slight amount of contact on the exit. Into turns 9 and 10, we back out from going side by side through there because it is very difficult to do so. Now heading down the straight though, the Aston Martin has DRS, but so do we. He goes defensive, we go to the outside. Can we get the move done? No, we have to back out there. So we're just about unable to get the move done as we head through this long right-hander. This is a great battle, but what's crucial is that we're losing time to the car ahead. Look at the gap, nearly 2 seconds, and I said earlier that we needed to be within 2 seconds at least to gain the position because he has a 5-second penalty and we have a 3-second penalty. Heading down the straight now, the Aston Martin will not have DRS this time, so we can get a move on up ahead of him. And look at the time that we've gained to the Mercedes with slipstream, now down to 1.4 seconds with the DRS and slipstream, because we didn't lose any time through the corners when making that overtake. We did it all on the main straight, so all we did was gain time there, which is good for us on this penultimate lap. Heading out of turn 4, the gap is 1.5 seconds, and now the goal is just to finish within 2 seconds of the car ahead. As long as the Aston Martin behind stays within 5 seconds of the Mercedes, he's literally guaranteed a P2 position on the podium. But we need to finish within 2 seconds of the Mercedes to get P3, a podium in our first league race on the new game. It could be possible as we head out of turn 2 through turn 3. After spinning on lap 1 of the race, we could come back for an insane comeback onto the podium. Now exiting turn 4, and we're still pushing as hard as possible on these old hard tires. We pitted on lap 12 of this race. You can see there that we had to correct the car, slight snap of oversteer. We've had quite a lot of laps on these hard tires, and they're starting to give up now as we head into turns 9 and 10, and we take it as nice as we could possibly do on these old hards. Now heading down the straight, we barely have any ERS left, 4%, 3% heading into turn 11, and we take turn 11 quite nicely, but look at the gap, 1.9 seconds. That is not good, because it's nearly 2 seconds as Plage sets the fastest lap of the race of a 27.7. Now exiting this corner, we had another snap of oversteer, but we are pushing our very hardest here down the straight, using all the ERS we have left. James B crosses the line to take the win here in the first race of the season. The fireworks are out, the checkered flag waves, and it is enough to get the position, and we have gotten a podium after a spin on lap 1, chaos on the safety car restart. We were able to come back, and we got the podium in the end. Great battles with quite a few cars, and I'm definitely very happy with that result. Maybe not spinning in future league races would be a bit more ideal, and maybe I'll do that next time. But for now, I'm quite happy with the podium after all the chaos on lap 1 and on the safety car restart. As you can see, the podium celebrations here. Quite happy with us being able to make the comeback here. And now we can see the race results. James B in the Alfa Romeo wins the race. Penny in the Aston Martin P2 because of our penalties, and myself in P3. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.